Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Ghostbuster Dad Ghostbusters Talk Show. Today we are joined by Rhett Martin. He is a little bit more behind the scenes of the whole Ghostbuster community. He does more of like the props, and he also helped with the car and all kinds of awesome stuff. So we're going to be talking with him today, and he's going to let you guys know a little bit more about the background of things. Rhett, it is awesome to have you on the podcast. Thank you for so much for being on here, man.
Hey, thank you. It's great to see you. And hi, everybody. How are you?
And what's really cool about Rhett is he's actually a part of our group, the Real Ohio Ghostbusters.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, Rhett.
So, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've just been pounding away at making movie props. And the Ghostbuster stuff always seems to keep coming my way, mostly because I just don't leave Ghost Core alone. I just kind of keep bugging them. And yeah, just one project after another keeps popping up. And I drag as many people as I can into it with me, and sometimes I'm grabbed by other people, which is always nice. And we just get it done and hope for the best, like
Right.
you do when you're shooting TV or movie.
So you've worked on a lot of the props for the movies.
A few of them. I was responsible for the 61 millimeter that ended up in Afterlife that got cut up and turned into the filming buck. The rest of the parts, like the windshield and a lot of the chrome trim, were taken off of that and put onto the Ecto 1A for its restoration to then become, the car we see now with the cool suicide door and the jump seat. And I got to help out quite a bit on Frozen Empire. I did that alongside Max Factory. They pretty much just gave us an order sheet, and we filled the order sheet in about 5 weeks, and off it went to London, and those guys spun gold. So, yeah. I've done some licensed stuff. I've done some theme park stuff, few TV things here and there. I did the Peyton and Eli Spooky Adventure. That was a real blast. And I've done a few things for the video game companies, Atari, Ilphonic. And like I said, they just kind of keep coming.
That's really cool. You had told me something about a drill situation. You want to tell them about that?
So the 61 that I had about, I had finished restoring the interior of it. I was going to build an Ecto 1A. And because we already had Lauren's Ecto 1 in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, I better build a 1A so we're not stepping over each other. And I wanted the challenge of that because nobody had really done it yet, which I'm happy to say, boy, has that hole been filled. I went to Ghost Core at the beginning of March. And of course, the cars are sitting out front. And I'm kind of was still at the point where I didn't believe, my stuff had been used. I always assume it goes right in the trash because, who the heck am I? And I'm looking at the trim along the bottom of the Ecto 1, and I see a dent in it that's about this big. And it's from when I dropped my drill screwdriver point down onto it while I was scrubbing it in my garage down here in Amish country. And I'm like, they didn't take the dent out? Like, that's my dent. I did that dent. And of course, the tour group was looking at me like I was insane, which they did most of the time I was on the lot there at Sony. But it cracked me up that I could still recognize scratches in my windshield and little things like that. Like, oh yeah, that's mine. Yep.
And that's awesome, man, because that just shows what you mean to the Ghost Corp company, man, because you've obviously done a lot. You've said that you've went inside that building and saw that your Ecto goggles were on display and all kinds of cool stuff.
They are in the studio museum. Eric Reich pulled a great trick on me. That was the first time I'd ever been to LA. That's what's really amazing, that I've gotten to do all this work. I've never set foot out there. So,
Mhm.
you really don't have to show up to do the work. You just have to do the work. Um, we can talk to each other through Zoom, through podcasts, through whatever these days. So it's not hard to get in touch with people.
Right.
So he asked me, he said, "What do you want to do when you come out here?" And I was like, "I want to go to the archives and see my stuff because I don't believe that it's in there. I want to see my car because I never got to say goodbye to it. And I want to give it a smooch on the hood." And he goes, "Yeah, we're not going to do any of that. What you're going to do is you're going to take the tour. There's some stuff you can see on the tour. I think you'll get a kick out of it. And then you'll leave the tour. You'll come into the office because the office isn't part of the tour. Because that's their office. They work there. And we would hang out a little bit in the office, and then I'd rejoin the tour. And then I was right back onto a plane to Ohio the minute I left. Um, the first stop on the tour was the museum, and I did a video where it's just, the place is magical. Johnny Five's sitting
Yeah.
there. The Dr. Octopus Spider-Man 2 costume is there. I didn't even take a picture. I was so shocked to see it.
I
I was
bet.
like, oh my God.
I
And I
bet.
know guys that worked on that, and I'm like, that I gotta, oh my God. And then I'd turn around and I'd see the Jumanji board, or
Oh yeah, definitely.
there was the Muse painting of all the four guys, and then I realized, oh, I'm missing about a foot of that. Okay. But then I turn around and there's all the Frozen Empire props in a case. And I out loud said, "Eric, you son of a..." And then I turn around and the tour group is there with the tour guide, and she says, "Mr. Martin, would you like to tell the tour group about what you made for the movie?" And I was like, "Yes." So yeah, it was a real trip. And what I really didn't know about Sony is that it was MGM Studios.
Yeah.
The sound stages that housed the Emerald City and Munchkinland are still there.
Holy
Um,
crap.
you walk in and you can smell it. It's like a Victorian house that's just been gutted. Like, it has that old wood pre World War II smell, and it was magical. There were some
I
other things I
bet.
got to do that are in my videos that are a little harder to explain. But
And those videos are on TikTok.
yeah, it's at Rhett 1701. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook.
Hmm.
I'm easy to find.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
but
if you
yeah,
guys would
it
like
was
to
a
see
magical
that,
experience to see that. And I found out recently one of my ghost traps is in the Museum of Cinema in Lyon, France, and I just was like, I didn't
wow,
know that was an achievement I could get. Like, why is my stuff in museums? So idiot
that's
boy from
really
Ohio
good,
makes
Rhett,
good.
though. That's really good.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
That
cool.
means that just shows that you do a really great job with everything that you do.
I really try, and we've talked about this at shows. There's nothing better I love doing than just chatting with a fan or a customer, because
Yep.
they really always tell me what they want. And if they've bought a product, which a lot of the real Ohio guys have, um, gosh, everywhere I go, I see somebody's wearing something. I'm going to
Yep.
do Ghostbusters Day here this coming June. I can't wait to bump into a bunch of people. The German guys are coming. A lot of the English guys are coming.
Yeah.
But these guys, everybody always tells me what they want improved. Um, it's a great job to have, and it's not
Yeah.
a hard one. You
You're just
know,
doing what you love.
yeah, we'll say that. I love it today. I don't know how I'm going to feel in about 45 minutes when I start working on model kits for Wonderfest and Ecto goggles that have to get shipped on Monday. So we'll see.
So, you worked on uh, a lot of the props from Frozen Empire, including the proton packs, the goggles, stuff like that, correct?
Yeah. So what I ended up sending, and this was in concert with Max Factory, was 12 proton packs worth of parts. Max Factory sent what they already had from me, which was bumpers, booster frames. If you have a resin Max Factory product, I made all those. Sometimes the masters came from them from another artist. Usually they were mastered here, especially the legacy stuff. All of that got shipped over, and they worked their magic with it. The locker from Frozen Empire is in the museum, and it was pretty wild to start picking my parts out. And I regret not getting a picture of that. Like I said, I was just too shocked. I was like, wow, it doesn't matter that I have the order sheet and the shipping labels and all the communication. I deal with anxiety pretty badly. So I really don't believe that this stuff exists. I just assume that I'm dead and I was a really good boy. So to see that stuff not in my house and behind glass or on display is just psychotic. It really messes with your brain. And then to see stuff that your friends worked on, it's like, oh, I remember when he was making that. I remember when she was building that and she asked this question, But yeah, we did 12 proton packs worth of parts, which for me is about a year's worth of work. We included in that some of the afterlife stuff, some of the switches and some of the heat sinks.
Did you design the Frozen Empire pack?
I did not. That was all done internally. That was all done through Ghost Core and through their concept artists. And then they just call out what they wanted. And then we just make it. And then off to there was about 50 prop makers and set decorators on Frozen Empire. And just because I'm me, some of my stuff ended up on the set. Some of my stuff ended up on costumes. And then most of my stuff ended up with the props. The Ecto goggles are an insane story of coincidences that just kept meeting up. The original pair that I made was for the Alberta Ghostbusters for a guy named Warren Cummings, who has a motorbike tour company in Alberta. And he wanted to do a afterlife tour. So he asked Ben Eady, of course, hey, can you make these for me? And Ben was like, no, I'm busy, because Ben's a busy guy. And so he contacted me knowing I make Ecto goggles. And he goes, hey, can you make some afterlives without the camera stuff? And I had just been at that moment mastering the afterlife ones. So we kept going. We got them built. And not 2 weeks after they were built, we got Frozen Empire. And over the phone, I said, hey, what Ecto goggles do you want? Ghostbusters 1, Ghostbusters 2, or Afterlife? And the guy goes, Afterlife without all the camera bollocks on it. And I was like, okay, that works. So I sent him 6 of those. And these are number 7. So these are all the junk castings. But I sent them all the decals.
Are those metal or are they plastic?
They're resin.
Oh, they're resin.
See?
And that's what they actually used in Frozen Empire.
What's that?
They actually used those in that Frozen Empire. Those
not these ones. These I sent them kits. You'll see those in my videos. I expected the original concept design is in some of the behind the scenes art books, where it was supposed to be triple lenses, and I just assumed they were going to make what they wanted.
Gotcha.
2 days after they arrived in London, I got a photo, and it was the photo of Gil wearing them. And he loved them. He was like, nope, these are perfect. Let's use these. So it was this wild coincidence that Ghost Core's original design, Ben Eady's design, and then my design all have a thread running through them. And of course they match Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2. And even the 2009 video game, they kind of have the same look. So then I got the pictures with all the stuff on them and the drone stuff. And I was like, holy crap. And I couldn't believe it. And then I saw them on the movie poster. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm dead. I've died. I've gone to heaven. I was a good boy. I guess I still have the molds. I guess I should make some more of these. So yeah.
Well, they must have loved you because you got to work on even stuff for Ghostbuster Spirits Unleashed. Is that correct?
Yeah. So Spirits Unleashed is what got us the job for Frozen Empire. We wanted to prototype the legacy proton packs for Max Factory. And Jared Goretzin at Ilphonic was like, can you build me one for each of our offices? And then we'll have them at the release party at the Roxy in Tribeca, which is across the street from the firehouse. Literally across the street, about 400 feet.
Yeah.
And working with Max Factory, we got it done. We got them built. I went ahead and did traps and goggles for them. I did some suit gear for them as well. And it was a pretty tight build, and it got to the point where we couldn't figure out how to deliver them because they were all in gigantic roadie cases.
Right.
They're in Seattle. I think Seattle. Jared, if I'm wrong, don't hate me. I'm in Ohio, and they were like, well, we're doing this in New York City. And I went, screw it, I'll drive them to New York City. So I loaded them into my little CRV, and on I think about 20 minutes of sleep that night, drove from Cleveland to New York City. And you want to talk about the universe talking to you. I pulled into Manhattan at noon on a Friday, and there was a parking spot at the back of the hotel at the loading dock just there. And I pulled up, I parked, everybody came walking out, and we unloaded everything, walked in, and I saw in the lobby, I saw a few people that we would all know. And I went, oh God, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna figure it out any minute that I'm just a fan, that I'm just an idiot guy with a can of black spray paint and some stickers. And I asked the woman at the desk, I said, hey, where do I park? I'm here all weekend. And she said, go 2 blocks up. That's our parking deck. Here's the address. And the address was 610 Worcester Road. And I live in Worcester, Ohio, and there is a Worcester Road in Manhattan. I couldn't believe it. And it's 2 blocks over from the firehouse. And the guy who told me when I first got started to watch the universe will tell you when you're doing well. It will always talk to you. You just have to sit still and listen to it. And that was Ernie Hudson who gave me that advice. And I later got to tell him that story in front of his wife, which I was just like, I'm so glad somebody else knows that this guy's cool. So yeah, that was a crazy experience. And all the New York guys came out. AJ Quick was there, Jason Fitzsimmons was there, Ryan Espin was there, McKenna and Logan came out, Gil was there, Jason was there, Eric Reich was there. I didn't even know who Gil was. I met him for like 10 seconds, and he flitted off into the darkness. We were downstairs at the Roxy, which used to be an old speakeasy in the 20s, and our DJ that night was Questlove.
That's awesome.
It was weird, but it was so much fun. And what was even greater is that I got to catch Gil and Jason looking at my props, like going through and be like, how did he get that? And I had to leave that night. I had to be on set for a Star Trek fan film in Maryland the next day. And had I stayed, I found out later, I would have found out that they wanted us to do the stuff for Frozen Empire. So, I should have stayed, but I couldn't have. I had to head down to my friends and give a guy a giant plasma burn on his whole body. So it was a hoot.
For the fans, what is it like meeting Logan and McKenna and Jason?
I should. If my studio wasn't such a mess, I would show you that this place is covered in autographs. You can see I actually have all 4 guys back here, and 2 of them I've met. 1 I did not get to meet, and the other one I talked to on the phone. The important thing to remember when you're meeting most celebrities is these are normal people like you and
Yep,
I.
I agree with that 100%.
They just happen to do a job that millions of people get to see and be a critic over.
Yep.
Logan is an amazing kid. He deserves every bit of success that he's getting. So does McKenna. Their parents are really amazing people. Logan's dad is hilarious. They were in Cincinnati the weekend before the Ilphonic party, and of
Mhm.
course were you there for that when we gave Logan the patch?
I was not.
You missed that. That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't get to go see Logan and them, man. I don't. The only one that I got to go to so far is the Horror Hound, and I believe that was last year.
Right. Um, yeah, what was really funny is that I didn't know Logan was coming to New York City.
Yeah.
So he walked into that basement room, and I looked at him, and I went, "Oh, hi! If it isn't the newest Ohio Ghostbuster," and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I went, "It's just light stalking. Don't worry." And his dad behind him thought that was hilarious. Logan didn't find it very funny, but we had a lot of fun that night. Yeah, meeting McKenna was a pretty big treat because boy, what's that kid gonna do in 10 years? She's
Oh God,
very
she is in
clearly already on a track.
everything now.
Yeah,
McKenna is doing so good for herself. She has literally been in like the Ghostbuster movie. She was in Scream. She's doing the
yeah,
new Scooby Doo. And what's really cool is she's known Annie since before Ghostbusters because she played with her in Young Sheldon.
yeah. It's so funny, um, and it is nice to see that family dynamic.
Hmm.
I If you've been to Horror Hound, I'm sure you've met the Cerseys, you've met Tony, and
Yes, I've met Tony
his
Sincere. He is such an amazing
yeah,
guy. I actually just my last podcast was actually with him.
right. That's right.
Yep.
I just talked to them the other day, checking in on their boy, and I guess they're headed to Orlando here
Yep.
for another con.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, every time I see somebody or I get to talk to somebody who worked on something, my favorite thing is there's a mold maker in Hollywood. His name's Rob Berman, and he's a makeup guy, and his whole family worked on the original Ghostbusters and the foam rubber applications.
That's cool.
And they actually, we don't know about this stuff because we're this close to it. We're not this close.
Yeah.
And I would say I'm about that close, maybe more. I don't know. Um, they created whole new recipes for foam rubber that are still in use today.
Hmm.
Some of the foam rubber that most foam rubber corrodes and degrades.
Yeah.
The dog head that's a Ghost Core, that
Hmm.
sucker's foam rubber. It looks brand spanking new. I'd always
Yeah.
thought it was fiberglass, but it's rubber.
Yeah, I've heard that there's really nothing left of the Stay Puft suit anymore.
Nope, they're gone. Yeah, the everything that you see has been rebuilt and reconditioned. And
Yep.
Tony, when he caught on fire, um, they only wanted him in there for about a minute, and I think he did about
3.
3. Was it 3 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah,
No, it was 3 suits, I believe, because he said that the first one, the flames actually came on the inside of the mask, and then the second
yep,
one, something happened with the second one, but the third time it went really good. But I
yeah,
think that yes, I think it was about 3 minutes in each one, but the first two wasn't. It didn't even last 3 minutes. But the
yeah.
third one did work good.
I don't know how those guys do it. I get scared when I'm on a step ladder. Like,
Yeah,
like
I don't either.
you want me
But
to do
he's,
what with a car? What?
but yeah, he's even done stuff. He's even done the stunt double for Robert England and around Elm Street and stuff. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's been doing it for a very long time.
Yep. Every stunt guy that I come across, I have a couple of buddies that are on Mandalorian and Grogu,
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, you know him? Oh my God, can I?" Like, they know who he is just because they talk like we do.
yeah.
Um, yeah, boy, he's a high water shit mark out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
He's
even
cool.
had Joe Sorello on here too.
Yeah, yeah,
The police
yeah.
captain. And
Yeah,
boy, did he have an interesting story for me. He told me that on the set, that Bill did not know that his wife was there and tried to come on to his wife.
Whoops.
And his wife told him, and when he introduced himself, he said, "That's your wife?" And she asked him for an autograph, and he says, "I'll send it to you." And apparently he sent them the autograph, and it said her name. I can't remember what he said her name was, but he said, "Your big fat can is blocking everybody's view."
Yeah, that sounds right.
But yeah, he told me a funny story about Bill Murray. Bill Murray's quite the flirt guy. From what I
Yeah,
can tell.
that's what I hear. Some of the British guys I got to talk to, they were like, "Are you guys all like this, or is it just him?" And I was like, "Well, depends what we're drinking that day. I mean, he's
Right.
pretty representative of how Americans are."
Well, Bill, he does a pretty good job even playing Peter Venkman, because he just shows his own character in that one.
I always used to think that I always wanted to be Venkman, and I used
Yeah.
to work at a really great bar, and I'd worked there for 8 years straight. It was where I first built my first Ghostbuster outfit
Yeah.
to win the costume contest.
Yep.
And I was like, which name patch do I get, guys? I'm going to get Venkman. And they all, we're at the end of the day at the bar, everybody's drinking, and they all start laughing at me. And I'm like, what? So I turn to, of course, the super hot bartender and go, Amy, which Ghostbuster am I? And she whips around without making eye contact and goes, does this pole still work? And I went, stance it is. Who's bugging you over there?
Oh, I think my dog is outside.
Like not supposed to be outside or just outside?
No, just outside.
I'm supposed to have the seamstress show up here in a little bit. We were getting a bunch of ecto goggle head straps made. Some goofball bought out the entire Army Navy surplus world of head straps. But yeah, what else? What else do we want to talk about? Gosh.
You had mentioned some of the stuff from Max Factory as well. You
Yeah, I don't talk much about that because it wasn't a very good experience.
Okay.
Um, but boy, when they started out and I got my first shell, I mean, the first time I opened an idealized shell, I just stared at it.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I told him, I said, Aaron, this is a moonshot. Like I've never seen anything like this in automotive manufacturing. Um, and that was probably the last good memory I have of working for them.
Hmm.
Um, but I wish them the best. It looks like they're still cruising along and doing what they're doing. So good luck to them. There's plenty of guys out there that can do the work for them. But yeah, I did some stuff for them, and that was kind of I did everything up to the legacy PPD, and that was it. That's as far as we went. We did the work on Frozen Empire, and after that, that was it. So, such is life.
Huh. Um, let's see. You had said, what was some of the oh, you said something about the what was the thingy on the yellow board, or on the yellow
Oh yeah, the
yeah.
extractor wands.
Yeah, the extractor wands.
Yeah, I had sent out 7 semi-built Legacy wands, we had originally been told that there was going to be a scene where they open a closet door and it's all the old packs. And then
Yeah.
they pull them out and and then that got cut and turned into something else. Or they were straight up lying. I don't know. I never got to see a script. I just got an order sheet that said, make 15 of these. And, I did it. But the extractor wand, I can't remember her name, but a girl prop maker on Frozen Empire did these. But this is number 8. These were the junk castings out of the 7 that got sent over. But it's just such a fun, fun take on.
I've never even seen the back of those. What was exactly? What exactly was that used for?
This was the soul extractor. When you pull the soul out of the thing, it goes into the chamber, and these harness it, and then it goes into the trap, and then the trap is extracted, and off the ghost goes. Yeah, they're on screen for all of 2 seconds, probably less.
So
yeah, it was really heartbreaking.
What part is that in?
That's when Melody talks Phoebe into taking her soul out of her body so that Garaka can control her.
I thought maybe because those look like the ones that are used in the tomb.
I bet that's where the idea came from. But I never got to see drawings on those. I had assumed that I was sending them wands for all the pack stuff that we were sending. And then I believe most of the wands for Frozen Empire were aluminum. There were a few that were there was 1 or 2 that were resin molded off of the aluminum ones, and then there were the rubber ones. And yeah, I think that was it. I would have to sit down and study.
Yeah.
But
I also noticed that they started using those things that we usually have on our strap now for that Frozen Empire, the thing that has the turn knob.
Yep.
In that scene, because that's how he had it set up, is how he would have like the wand, then he'd have that thing to where it would automatically start firing once they tried to come out of the hole.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. I even remember for the 2009 video game, we did New York Comic Con for Atari. And that weekend was exhausting, but it was also amazing. Atari's booth was gigantic, and Glenn Gamble, who I think that was his name. I can see his face. I can't quite remember his name. Really cool dude, super fan for Ghostbusters, obviously from just playing the game. That was made with a lot of love. But we were walking out with our belts on our shoulders, because that's the best part about being a Ghostbuster at a con, is eventually you're just wearing pajamas, because everything just comes off.
Yeah.
And it's actually the reason I chose to dress as a Ghostbuster. Originally, it was either going to be Boba Fett or a Ghostbuster, and I picked Ghostbuster once I tried on my Boba Fett outfit for the first time. I was like, I'm not doing this. This sucks. No wonder bounty hunters are so angry. But he saw that belt circuit on our shoulders, and he's like, "Ooh, I really like the look of that." And I think it's funny that continues to be incorporated. And I think that comes from military culture and police culture as well.
Yep.
And firefighter culture.
If I'm not mistaken, it was fans that actually came up with that idea.
Yeah, there was a fan. Somebody did a 3D print. And, this is the best part about being a fan.
Yep.
In the internet age, is eventually that stuff makes it to guys, if it's good enough, it makes it to Adam Savage, it makes it to Eagle Moss or Hero Collector, or to Doug Drexler, or to, any of these guys that have an online presence. And even the convention scene, Wonderfest, is so niche specific. You know, it's just model kits and
Yeah.
makeup and special effects. And
Yeah.
all the guests are guys from ILM that you would never know outside of a library or the RPF or Proptopia or GB fans if you want to go way back.
Right.
But yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I remember the guy that made that, and then it made it over to Adam Savage,
Yep.
and then it just exploded from there.
Yeah.
So
Now
hey,
they use
it
it
would
in
be
Frozen
great if we
Empire.
saw that in the new movie. That'd be great.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't particularly the exact same thing, but it was very, very similar to it for sure.
Yeah, I really love one of my favorite commissions I got to do recently. We called it the Monster Mash. A guy wanted a set of ecto goggles that was every ecto goggle mashed together.
What?
And he goes, can you make that? And I said, I'll make it, but you're designing it. And he did. He sat down and he did a drawing. And it was a real ghost, but it was a regular frame, but it was brown like the real Ghostbuster one. It had all the afterlife and Frozen Empire detailing, video game lenses,
What?
a
What?
GB2 head strap and face pad.
That'd
And then
be
it
interesting to
lit
see.
up. Oh, and it had the camera controls. And he would push one and the dot in the middle would blink red, and then he pushed the other one and it would light up green. Yeah, and the lenses were
What?
video game, were 2009 video game.
That's freaking wild.
And I couldn't believe it all came together. I was like, I'm never going to be able to put these all together. And it came together beautifully.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that when fans do mashups. There seems to be a trend of girls doing Barbie as a Ghostbuster. And
Yep.
I'm just like, more. I want to see the one I've been wanting to make for years, and we could never get the money together, is I want to do the Disney princesses as Ghostbusters. And I want their equipment to be themed. Like I want Elsa's to be Frozen. I want Ariel's to be Coral. I want Belle's to be Art Deco and Art Nouveau.
Dude, speaking of, have you seen the pictures of that gingerbread one that somebody made? Oh my God, that thing is
ends up in my
beautiful.
inbox like once a week around Christmas.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. There's some guys out there that, I look at what they build and I look at what they make, and I'm like, I'm never going to touch that, ever. At the job I have now, I work with some graphic designers that I'm never going to come close to. And I've been doing graphic design since Photoshop 1. So, these guys are just, I'm pretty sure they're crazy, like in all the best ways, but holy crap. The amount of talent, that's one of the reasons I live where I live. I live in a town that just throws money at the arts. And, I get dogged once in a while for not being in Atlanta or being in LA or Toronto or whatever, or Vancouver. And I tell them, hey, I can throw a rock this big and I can hit 3 welders, 3 fabricators, 3 laser cutters, 3 3D printers who all have nothing to do on a Saturday.
Right.
So, and then if we don't have anything to do, we can go help the local school. We can help the local theater. There's 6 stages where I live that are actively producing plays and TED Talks, and they shot a little bit of Superman down here when they were here. I live about 45 minutes from where they shot Shawshank Redemption. So we get to do that every Christmas. You got to come up for that. That's a blast.
Oh, I'll try to for sure.
Yeah, they do Blood Prison, and the gag for Krampus is that we're there to keep the ghosts in. And but yeah, the you talk about Nightmare on Elm Street connections. Robert Kurtzman is from 45 minutes west of here. He designed the first Freddy makeup, and he's got a group of guys that do some work out here, and so much talent in Ohio. And the great thing about Ohio is nobody knows. Yep. And we're perfectly happy with that. Yeah, go to Chicago. Thanks for coming. Bye. Yeah. Like, no, don't go south. Don't go south. That's ours. All right, you can go to Columbus, you can go to Cincinnati, have fun. But yeah.
That's crazy, man. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's
It's crazy.
insane.
It's crazy how many celebrities and like graphic designers and all that stuff actually live in Ohio.
Yeah, that's the only way you can get out of Ohio is either you got to
And
go to the moon, you got to become president, or you got to become a movie star.
and speaking of Ohio, you had mentioned some of the stuff that was done in Ohio for the Ghostbuster movies.
Okay, so this is just fun for me. So in the opening of Frozen Empire, as they're chasing the sewer dragon,
Yep.
Carrie Coon drops her ecto goggles on her face. So that is an actress who was born in Copley, Ohio, which is about a half hour from where I live, wearing a pair of goggles that were made in Worcester, Ohio, riding in a car that was built in the 50s in Bellefontaine, Ohio, carrying proton packs that are covered in pneumatics from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yep.
So, and if you really want to push it, riding on tires that were most likely made in Akron, Ohio. So, Ghostbusters would not exist without Ohio. I can't remember which character it is, but I think in the original treatment, one of the four guys is from Ohio, was born in Ohio. I don't know if it was Ray or Egon, but it was one of them. It was one of them's from the Midwest. I think we'd have to do some real deep digging. Or if somebody can just call Danny and ask him, I'm sure he already knows. He'll just go into his files and just pull it out and be like,
Dan Aykroyd was born in Canada.
Right.
But one of his favorite places is in Ohio. Kentucky. There's a haunted asylum that he runs.
Ooh. Yeah, that place is haunted.
Yeah, he says it all the time that it's very haunted.
Yeah, I had meant that in the original treatment of the Ghostbusters script, one of the four is supposed to be either from Cleveland or Toledo or Chicago.
Harold was born in Chicago, Illinois.
And Ernie's a Detroit boy. So, and Billy's Chicago too, isn't he?
Billy.
Or Illinois, or I think Billy's Chicago.
Billy who?
Murray.
Oh, Bill Murray.
Yeah. Sorry, Bill. Bill is from Chicago.
When you said Billy, I thought you were talking about our Slimer Challenger Billy.
Oh no, that goofball's from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, Dayton. I think he lives in Dayton.
Yeah. Well, no, he lives. Yeah, I guess it would technically be like a Dayton area because he lives right up the road from me when I lived in Miamisburg.
Miamisburg, thank you. The last time I was there, we sat in his driveway for a while, and yeah, I don't remember where I was.
Bill was born in Evanston, or I think it's Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah. Yep. That's funny. But yeah,
none of them's from Ohio. Well,
yeah, if you're digging, well, I think we're gonna have to dig deeper since it's been retconned. I really think it was Egon that was supposed to be from Cleveland, but I think it's been retconned through real Ghostbusters and into Frozen Empire or into Afterlife that he's from Oklahoma. Which either way, I love it. I love that the mad scientist came from the middle of nowhere.
Yep. So Dan's from Canada, Harold's from Illinois, Ernie's from Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, I tease him every time I see him. I'm like, you're not getting Toledo back. And usually he goes, that's all right. I don't want it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Sorry, Black Swamp guys. I love you.
It would be really cool to be able to be a part of something like that, though, man. So you're very lucky to be part of it for sure.
Well, one of the big reasons I am part of it is the support that I get
Yep.
through Real Ohio Ghostbusters, through Cincinnati, through Columbus,
Yep.
through Black Swamp, through the guys in West Virginia. Um, gosh, the Circle City guys have come out before. The Detroit guys are amazing. I bumped into all of them at the premiere. The Keystone, the Pittsburgh guys are amazing. The Maryland guys, I love the Maryland guys. Their Ecto One is covered in my old Ecto stuff. So my immediate family still lives out in Baltimore, and I'm out there all the time. And I always try to see if they're going to be around.
Yeah.
So yeah, the groups, if you hang out with the right group, sky's the limit.
Yep.
And Ghost Corps, they see us as a resource. They don't see
Yeah.
us as a burden.
Yep.
They know they can call any of us and be like, "Hey, can you do this thing?" And then they just don't have to worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a part of the Real Ohio Ghostbusters. You're a part of the Cincinnati Ghostbusters, and you're a part of my group, the Huber Heights Ghostbusters.
And the Huber Heights, and
Yep.
yeah, 313s and the 513s, and
Yep.
and the Columbus and the Northeast Ohio group. They
Yep.
keep a low profile, but they're a cool group too.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I've been seeing the 513 all over the place now because apparently they've been doing a lot of stuff with Scott.
yeah,
So I mean,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I recently got in touch with them over on TikTok and Facebook and stuff like that, and
yep, and it really is the best excuse to throw a flight suit on, is
yeah,
just to raise money.
yep,
The 501st guys have been doing it for decades.
it really is, and we
yeah.
do it because we love the fans. And even for us, as for what we do, we literally just put on a jumpsuit and go out there and do stuff for charity. We raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I raise for Huber Heights. It neither goes to the business or it goes to the American Red Cross. Oh, that's really cool.
Scott made that, of course.
And then just seeing people light up when they see us. Like I was doing an event with the Real Ohio Ghostbusters over at Land of Illusions one night.
Yeah.
And dude, boy, that's my all-time favorite event that we do every year. I love doing that event.
It breaks. I've missed it the last 3 years, and it crushes me.
Yeah, I love doing it.
Mostly for the hot dogs. I just go there.
Oh yeah. But this guy, man, grown ass adult. You would not believe the way that he lit up when he saw us standing there. He started jumping in joy, like, "Oh my God, can I take a picture with you guys? This is why we do it."
Yeah.
This is why we do what we do, because you're not just gonna be able to see Ghostbusters anywhere.
Right,
but seeing us dress up and doing it for people that love Ghostbusters, to them it's magical.
Well,
and that's why we love it so much.
I did Disneyland for the first time while I was out in LA, and seeing the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, well, as a special effects guy, walking around Disneyland has a whole other level, because that's where 70 years ago a bunch of guys like us were like, you want a whole ballroom of ghosts dancing? Okay, let me think about that. And then they did it. They were like, but then seeing the Star Wars stuff, I just was like, I put a video up that Kylo Ren saw me filming him, and he brought me over. And I was like, it's happening. I'm doing the thing. And of course, immediately, betrayed the First Order and went and hugged Chewbacca. But actually, Chewie hugged me. It scared the daylights out of me. They were taking our picture. And it was just a nice, school photo picture with Rey and Chewie. And then Chewie hugged me. And I was like, ah! But I hope we give somebody that much of what I experienced, there. Because it's so funny that I do all this, and Ghostbusters isn't even my favorite movie. it's in my top 5 in a constant rotation. But yeah, Star Wars like is my thing. And I hope that at a con, when we have the cars and everything, that there's a little kid that's like, oh, it's real, even if it's for 2 seconds.
We've actually had somebody do that.
Yeah.
Kids think it's real because they actually saw us in real life.
Yep. When Peyton Manning got his wand, he held it upside down for 3 takes, and I have to walk over to a 7'1" Hall of Fame Super Bowl champion and say, "Excuse me, sir, you're holding that upside down." And of course, and he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And he flips it. He goes, like I saw it in his eyes that he was a fan. He's like, this looks like it. And then, we got to hang out the rest of the day because the poor guy's so beat up that he couldn't even keep a 15-pound proton pack on his back.
Goodness.
And, we hung out all day, and I got to tell him, the history, what he was holding and its history. And when he saw the car, when he saw Lauren's Ecto-1, the Ecto-Ohio, I got to see Lauren's face when he saw their faces, and it was worth the 3 days of no sleep to get that project done.
Oh, for sure.
Like, and now I'm to the point where I get to see how my buddies see it, and I'm just like, oh, cool, okay, you did that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you don't need to become an Imagineer. You've tasted it. Like, now you can move on to the next thing. So, and I am moving on to the next thing, and that's going to be it's going to be pretty big. A few people know about it. I don't know if I've talked to you about it, but I started the spreadsheet for it a couple days ago.
I don't know if you told me about that or not.
It's cool. It's cool. I work at a company now that we do licensed collectibles and impulse items, and we're doing some collectible figurines. We're doing some Transformers stuff and some Godzilla -1 stuff, and we don't have the Ghostbuster license yet.
Yeah, so I remember you telling me about that.
I'm hopeful
really hoping
we can do something, next year or the year after. There's, we're already too late for this year, but I'll probably get to chit chat with some people that go on Ghostbuster Day, which should be nice.
I wish I could go, man, but I cannot afford to go out to New York.
Yeah, that's a trip. As far as the city goes, I'm not a fan. I'm not really a fan of any cities. Cities just scare the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And New York is an entirely other level of, geez, like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I think my head would explode if I went to Tokyo or Hong Kong or Dubai. Like, it just I wouldn't be able to take it. But getting to see everybody out there, I've gotten to know the guys who work who are the firefighters. Like, I can't wait to see those guys. At the Spirits Unleashed party, they were down in the bar with us, and I was looking at all the New York guys' costumes, and everybody looked great. And I'm looking at one guy, and I'm like, "Oh, that's a really cool harness. What is that?" And then I realized it was Vinny, who is one of the guys on the ladder, and he was wearing his gear in case they got called, so he could run across the street, get on the truck, and go. And yeah, it blows my mind on a daily basis that this stuff is real. And I was asked the other day on a website, what blows your mind the most? And I said that I walk by a movie poster every day to shower that has something on it that was made in the room that the poster is hanging in. Like, how is that If I went back and told myself that at 18 to the theater kid that was just, trying to hide behind the set with his girlfriend, um, I would have shot that guy. I would have been like, "Be gone, witch!" Like there's no way that's gonna happen. It was like, "You're gonna go to Disneyland and get to fly the Millennium Falcon." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like, come on. And I didn't get to fly it. I let the little kid fly it. I sat in the back pushing buttons, and I was perfectly happy. I was like, "What do you mean I get to push all the buttons?" you know.
Right.
Oh, I'm such a dork. Um, my favorite thing about everything that I get to do now is I've been reaching out to a lot of the special effects guys that have. Well, I tell them, I said, "Look, you're responsible for one of the nails in my coffin of, oh, I'm going to do this the rest of my life." And getting to hear their stories and getting to hear that movies really are $100 million high school musicals.
Mm,
They have no idea how they're going to get it done. If you watch Ghostbusters carefully, you will see that most of the special effects shots were the test shots. There's a whole frame of the church vanishing when Stay Puft steps on it, because they brought that shot to Ivan Reitman and said, "Does this work?" And he went, "Yep, in the movie." And they were like, "No, no, 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 it's not finished." And he went, "Looks good in the movie."
huh,
And it's always psychotic how fast these guys move on sets. The NFL films guys, I was putting just my proton packs away, and I put my head down and I looked up and they vanished like Batman. Like the whole green screen was gone. We shot that at Notre Dame. We shot that in the auditorium that in Rudy, when he's looking at the big ceiling.
uh,
We shot that in there. And, just being a little Catholic boy hanging out at Notre Dame, getting to ply my craft, I was like,
right.
but seeing some of these guys that do it day in and day out, I'm lucky I've gotten to do the things I do, but at the end of the day, I'm just a guy on Etsy. Um, but watching these guys that do it for real is insane. And now that we get to talk to each other, a makeup friend of mine just worked on the Michael Jackson movie, and he got to do the Thriller makeup. And he told me,
Really?
he said, "This is the thing that made me go to the Halloween store and build the face as a little kid." And I'm like, "Can you believe that we get to do this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna wake up in a coffin any day." Like, "Oh yeah, I was just dreaming. I'm dead. This is all just fantasy." But no, we really get to do it. And somebody reminded me that those ecto goggles are canon. Like, hey, you added to the canon. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did." And I got to do it with this guy, and I got to do it with this guy, and now we're all forever linked on that project.
Right.
And that's the whole reason to do it. It doesn't matter what it is that you're building.
Right.
It matters that you got to build a containment unit with your buddies. You got to take that same journey that those guys had to in a week in 1983. It was like, how fast can we build this, and what can we build it out of? So yeah, I understand how lucky I am. And the reason I'm this lucky is because I surround myself with people that have gotten me there. And I make sure to let them know that. It's nice to have my buddies say that they're proud of me, but I'm like, "Hey, do you remember when you reached out to have me come to do your booth? Like, that's one of the reasons that I get to do this now." So,
Yeah. And it could even help with this podcast too. I mean, you never
I hope
know.
so. I hope tens of people see it. I don't know. I I love when that's all podcasting is. We're just hanging out bullshitting. I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And
And
we want everybody to come and play in the sandbox. I originally wanted to be a makeup artist, and I got close to being on Face Off. Um, I was cast, and then Glenn Hetrick and Neville Page got Star Trek. So
Mhm.
they found out, hey, we can't do this. Can we just do an all-star show and wrap it up? So they said, hey, sorry, kid, but I got to talk to all of those guys. And I said, Glenn, should I even be doing this with CGI and with AI? Like, what's the point of makeup now? And he goes, dude, the sandbox gets bigger every day. Don't stop just because you read an article by somebody who has no idea what they're talking about. If you want to do the Halloween costume, do the Halloween costume. If there's somebody that can help you, call them. If they end up being a douchebag, don't work with them. Find the next person that can do the job. And I think you've experienced this with Ghostbusters. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just we make new fans every day, so to speak.
Oh yeah,
So
we do for sure.
yeah. So yeah, that would probably be my singular advice is listen to the universe and drag as many people with you as you can.
Yep.
And don't hesitate to reach out to the people that are in power. And when you do so, be polite, say your pleases and thank yous. If they can't help you, hey, they can't help you.
Right.
But it won't stop them from answering your email next time.
Right.
Go to your local haunts, go to your local theaters, go to Hobby Lobby and walk through the cake decorating aisle. You never know what sculpture tool you're going to find.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Go through the scrapbooking aisle. Go through floral. I'm doing a Jurassic Park model right now. It's sitting over here. I just went and bought it today. But it's a big long fern, but I realized it could be stripped down and turned into little ferns.
Cool.
Yeah, creativity and art are nothing more than practice and problem solving.
Exactly.
It's like anything else. You can be a great artist, but you're not going to be a great artist until you start practicing. And don't be afraid of failure.
Exactly.
If you fail, if you ship the prop late, if you ship a prop late, like I do constantly, it's usually because you figured out a better way to do it. Yeah, don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to ride the roller coaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And somebody had actually told you to uh give yourself your own autograph once. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. I have a wall of it's my creativity wall, and it's covered in producers, showrunners,
Yep.
um, some people I've worked with,
Yeah.
and some people who I'm really proud to say are now friends. And one of them said, I said, hey, I'm going to put this on my artist wall, and it's the wall I look at when I screw up, and I go, okay, geniuses, now what? And 99% of the time, I get the answer. And it's because I've opened myself up to that failure. Oh, I screwed up. I better think of something.
Right.
Oh, I can do it this way. Okay, let's go fix the problem. He said, oh, that's a cool wall. Are you on it? And I was like, fuck you, no. And he goes, oh, you should be on that wall. I was like, why? And he goes, well, how else are you going to think of yourself? Because he noticed that it's the anxiety talking. I don't think much of myself. The perfect feedback and the 2,000 commissions on Etsy is great. I don't remember doing all that. It's a blur. But he got it through to me. He said, you need to be on the wall. You need to look at that wall and know that you too can solve problems. And you do have to think of yourself like that. If you're out there and you don't know how to solve the haunt mechanic that won't work, or the makeup that's peeling and you're not sure how to glue it back because your director's screaming at you, well, not screaming at you, but you got to get it done, the sun's setting.
Exactly.
If you don't think of yourself as a problem solver, you'll never solve the problem. So yeah, I'm on that wall, but I'm on the bottom where like my supplies cover it. So there are days when I see myself peeking out from it. What was really fun is I had to make an 8x10 because a friend from high school asked me to do a little local con. And he goes, will you come and sign autographs and bring props? And will you do it? Will you do a panel? And I was like, for you? Yeah. Heck yeah. He's an artist for Marvel.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing. And the convention was 200 yards from the community theater I started at. And that was the day where I was like, okay, you can sign autographs, but not for more than $10. It's like, and it was really fun. I ran into a bunch of people I went to school with, a couple of people I was in art class with, got to meet their kids, got to let them. I still had one of the NFL proton packs at that point, so they got to play with it. And a couple of my artist friends came out for the panel, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And then my brain melted when I looked in the back of the room, and it was two of my old theater coaches from both high school theater and speech and debate. And they had found out through the grapevine that I was going to be doing this. And I was doing my TED talk. I was doing my full Adam Savage, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I saw them in the back, and I came to a screeching halt. And then I was like, hi, how are you? And everybody in the room's like, who is that? And they all turned. And it was so much fun. But yeah, if you get to a certain level and you get to text message guys who are in charge of $1 billion franchise, who are about to release their next Marvel show, if you get to talk to these guys and share a laugh, yeah, maybe you should think of yourself as being slightly autograph worthy, I guess is the way to say it.
Right.
Yeah, as long as people get a kick out of it, I don't mind doing it. And especially if they want to get a photo or something together, or it's like, hey, what do you do? Are you into art? What are you into? That's the most important thing. A podcaster pointed out to Billy Bob Thornton, hey man, why do you make a point to shake every fan's hand? And he goes, hell yeah. He goes, why do you do that? Isn't that annoying? And he goes, no, it's not annoying. They put my kids through college. I was like,
Hey.
Yes, maybe I should talk to that teenager who's doing his first Anakin Skywalker EVA foam piece of armor. Maybe I should teach him what glue works, what paint he should go buy. And then maybe I should hey, hop on my Facebook page. I want to see how that turns out. I'm genuinely curious to see what step the cosplay community comes up with next. Because I'm telling you, the theme park world and the special effects world, they're watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They get ideas the same place we get ideas everywhere else. Because really, when it comes down to it, we're all just mimics. This is great, but it's really not my design. This was Stephen Dane who came up with this. It wasn't me. I'm just building onto it, and I have to next time make one that doesn't make the actors' foreheads hurt. I've gotten that complaint twice. And they're right. This thing hurts when I wear it. But yeah, man. Yeah, just the real trick to this business is just to be really open and to just let it all in, let it all come at you. And like Ernie said, listen to the universe because it's talking.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, it is an hour and 9 minutes in.
Is that all?
We can keep going if you have more to talk about, or we can go ahead and let you get back to the props that you need to get finished. Or
No, it's the seamstress isn't. Her message just scrolled down. She's not coming till 3.
No.
What else am I working on? I'm doing a run of Ghostbuster 2 wands
Oh, really?
that are the stunts. So they like. Do I have it in here? Yeah, I have it in here. Hang on.
Okay.
So this I've done a couple videos on this, but this is going to be a Ghostbuster 2 semi-hero and stunt. You can see that this is all solid, and then this is my personal one. This has leftover nasty castings from Frozen Empire, but the real ones were fiberglass cast. Nicotron used to make ones like this.
Yeah.
These are a little more robust. The that actually turns, but it doesn't pop. There's a Jupiter light kit in here, so of course it looks like it's nice and bright colors like the Ghostbuster 2 stuff. It'll have a plug-in that'll run out to the proton packs because I'm going to start making proton packs. Yeah, but I'm only building 5 of these. I just
Is
kind of
that
wanted to.
resin?
Yeah, this is all resin. And then the handles are aluminum. And then the V-hook, where it needs to be metal, it's metal.
Is that how it was in the movie? It was like more all resin than anything.
Yeah, they had the 4 hero wands. They had the superhero wand that were all resin, and wonky as hell. If you really look at the photos, hang on. So this is a casting of the superhero wand. If you look at this is a fun casting because you can see the different texture of the paint.
Yeah, I
where
see
the
it.
metal was picked up. But if you look, like, there is not a 90-degree angle on this sucker. That's how fast they were moving to get those built. And that's what you have to do in the movie world. You have to move that fast.
Yeah.
But back in the 80s, they didn't know what 4K was going to be. They didn't know what Blu-ray was going to be.
Yep.
Yeah, every time I'm trying to educate myself on Godzilla now because I'm working on the license, and I'd never got into it, but the sheer amount of things on strings blows my mind. I'm like,
Exactly.
Wow, this is some Ed Wood shit right here. But yeah, I'm working on that. We nearly have the electronics done for the interior of the goggles, and they're going to work how they're supposed to work. Those are in the real world movie prop, or I'm sorry, in the universe piece of equipment. The lenses are supposed to be filled with sensors and cameras. The interior is supposed to be 2 screens that are adjusted for the user with the knobs. And then, the switches in the battery do what the switches in the battery do. They're not night vision goggles. They are PKE meters that are on your head. And we are working on a system that will be a pair of cameras, animation on either side, and we are going to have to build it. We're going to have to sculpt, mold, and cast all the ghosts.
So you're saying that you're going to actually make them actual SLS cameras?
Because
Rhett, that would be freaking awesome, dude, because I'm actually a paranormal investigator. So that would be really cool to be able to have. It's like the actual Ghostbuster gear.
There's room in there. So we're going to have a ghost hunting mode. Now, it's going to take I'm just a guy in Worcester, but we have an electronics company that makes stuff like this here in town. And it's inspired by the Matty Collector ones where the ghosts will come across but they're going to be shot either stop motion or puppets on a green screen.
Yeah.
So there'll be actual performances. So you'll have your readouts, and the ghosts will come in and around, and they'll slime you, and they'll get you. We think we're going to be able to pull the thing and then get a green. What we want to do is a green and blue light to throw back to the comic books, because they're all, for some reason in the comics, one's always green and one's always blue. I think that's just, comics. But yeah, we realized to do that, building the electronics and getting that to work is as easy as building a VR rig, which is basically what it's going to be. It's going to be a VR rig with animation. And the board is only like this big. That's what shocks me, is that you can get the stuff so tiny now. But we realized to make the ghosts, to do those animations, we have to build the ghosts. So we're going to have to make a Slimer puppet. We're going to have to make Scoleri Brothers puppets. We're going to have to make Muncher. We're going to have to make Terror Dogs. And we're not sure if we're going to do them one-to-one yet. But the most logical is going to be hand puppet. And if we film human ghosts, obviously we're going to be pulling some of the Ohio guys to be ghosts, some of the guys and girls to be ghosts. So that's like 2 years away.
I'd be down.
I'm putting it out there in the community. I love these guys, Jupiter and Pixel Props, that have built the readout that goes in, but that's not how the Ecto goggles work, man. Those are supposed to be Sony video cameras in there with their little screens, and that's the Dan Aykroyd has said it a few times. That's the genius of Dr. Spengler, is his ability to miniaturize. So that's supposed to be their big genius, is that they took a cyclotron and made it that big. And now that we have blueprints and we know that the containment unit is covered on those with the cyclotrons on the interior,
right?
It wouldn't work at all in real life. If you really look at how the proton pack works, it runs on hot air. That's what the end filter is for. The end filter cools down and sucks in air, and then the cyclotron separates out the negative ions. And then that's what the ion arm and the booster panel all does. And then the crank box is just the fuel cells. And if you really look at it, it's an infinity loop of hot air. And then it gets sent into the wand, where the wand spins it up and spits it out to go find negative ions so it can make a complete chemical. Now, in the real world, in real physics, that's not how it works. But in the Ghostbuster universe, that's how it works.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really excited to do that. I have figured out how to do slime blower kits. So those are coming.
I would love to have a slime blower. That'd be cool.
Yep, and we figured out how to make them light. And what's the other thing that we figured out? That thing I can't talk about. Yeah, there's a few things in my world in development that I can't talk about, and it kills me because
you want to,
so cool.
but
they're so cool. I'm telling you guys, with the Netflix stuff coming out and a new movie down the road, it's going to be a very good time to be a Ghostbuster fan. So yeah.
All right, Rhett. All right.
Yeah. 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 We're all going to think that we died and that we were very good boys and girls. So yeah, I'm just those guys at Ghost Corps, man. They're the real thing. Yeah.
I'm just glad that Jason took over the whole franchise, honestly.
Yeah, because and he and Gil really just you can really tell how much they love it.
Yep, especially because it was Jason's dad that created the whole thing. Well, with Dan Aykroyd and Harold, but still, He with Frozen or with Afterlife, that was the best way that they could have possibly kept the franchise alive. I absolutely love Ghostbusters Afterlife. I
I was
love
just
it.
so happy to see all the practical effects in it because, as much as the CGI and now the AI revolution are making some really great things happen, you got to remember that the best shots in Jurassic Park were puppets. The best shots in Frozen Empire are puppets. It's some guy from Surrey that's got something on marionette strings. You'll the great story that I loved was when Jon Favreau gave the Grogu puppet to Werner Herzog, and the guys were working the puppet, and Werner Herzog, who's a great director who's been around, he was like, "This is beautiful, this is unbelievable," and Jon Favreau said, "Yeah, we're just going to CGI it," and Werner Herzog looked at him square in the eye and said, "If you do not use this puppet, you are a coward." It just was like, and of course, how great does Grogu look? He's
Right.
wonky, he's silly, but we buy it. We get that it's a joke, we get that it's an illusion, but we all want to see the magic trick,
Right.
and then we want to know how they did the magic trick, and sometimes they'll be like, "Nope, you don't get to know how we did that," and then sometimes it's like, "Come over and hang out, grab a beer, I'll show you how I did that," and then, "Do you want to make one?" That's what I try to do. I'm like, "Come up to the house, we'll make some ectogoggles, let's do it." So but yeah, Frozen Empire was nuts. I
Oh,
I
Frozen
didn't
Empire
know.
was too.
That movie reminded me that Ghostbusters could be scary. So did Afterlife. The
Yeah.
the stuff they did with the dogs. It was
Yeah.
funny. It was the same as the first movie. It was funny and it was horrifying.
Yep.
And
I love the mini puff that they added though. Those mini puffs are fucking awesome.
I remember looking at Eric Reich like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, like that was his attitude. He was like, "I
The
think they're
thing is,
funny," and I'm like, "Well, I think they're funny too. Let's see what happens."
they've become a huge part of the Ghostbuster franchise now. People are using them all over the place.
Oh, because they're hilarious, and that's
I
the whole
know.
point. Yeah, the whole point of Ghostbusters is the fun and the
Yep.
ridiculousness of it.
Yep.
We know our proton packs don't work. We know the Ecto One is it is a pain in the butt junky car to own. But who cares?
Right.
It's like,
It's
I'm
the
having fun.
fun.
Leave me alone. I'm not in therapy. Are you?
It's the fun behind it. That's all it is.
I love the idea that I get to work with people that I'm literally never going to get meet in person. Like and that we've done artwork collaboratively, and I'll never get to shake their hands. I'll get to talk to them on Facebook, or I'll get to get an autograph or something, but I'll never get to meet them, and that's amazing. Like, hey, we created something that everybody got to see, and we never were in the same room. Like that's a real kind of magic that I
Yeah.
just love. And then I get to meet all these other people that worked on other projects, and then I find out that's normal. Like, yeah, I built this in California, but they filmed it in Mongolia, and I never saw it after that. It's like, but I believe that you like were there, that you were part of
Right.
it. And it's so crazy, and it just makes me chuckle every time. So yeah.
Hey,
But
man,
yeah, man.
it is. That's just the magic behind it, though,
It
for
is.
sure.
And it's a weird kind of magic that you don't see it until the day after.
Yep.
Like, you're
Well,
moving
and
so fast that, oh my God, what just happened?
well,
Yeah.
and like you said, you made those props, and then when you saw them behind a glass case, you're like, and and you know that those props were used in the movie and stuff, and it just
Yeah.
makes it magical for you too, because you're like, holy crap, I created this. That means something to me. That means something to them.
And I got to build upon other artists' work. And boy, I know the day is coming when somebody else is going to do it other than
Yep.
me.
Yep.
And I might get to see my design of their design reflected in the new design. Like, you nobody tells you that stuff in high school art class. Like,
Yep.
hey, this is how far artwork can go, where you are just constantly parroting and mimicking each other, but you're all in on the joke,
Yep.
and you all get to kind of like wave at each other like, did you get that thing I sent you? And there are some things that are on my props that have been incorporated just from hanging out at cons, where it's like, ooh, we should do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Part of one of the pitches that I just did came directly from being at so many conventions
Mhm.
and seeing so many props get broken. That's why I do a lot of stunt stuff. It's like, because I've been at those cons, I know that sponge face circuit board should not be on a convention floor. That should be in a case, in a frame. you know, you can wear mine that's made out of foam rubber that when it gets shut into a car door, it's going to be okay. Um, yeah, and that is the other thing that I keep saying. Like, if you want to do something like what I do, you got to get out there. You got to talk to each other. You got to be willing. You got to be willing to make an ass of yourself from time to time. And sometimes making an ass of yourself means it happens on a forum, and
Right.
you get yelled at for a couple of days. And that that isn't a great way to do it. I don't encourage people being gatekeepers or being bullies online. In my case, I actively make a point to seek those people out and have a word with them
Right.
and to remind them, hey, at the end of the day, we're just fans. So, shut up, go build something. I will remind most fans that most of the gatekeepers out there are guys that have never built anything.
Mhm.
They don't know how to build things. They just know how to be critics. They just know how to do really good research. And the truth is, I've been able to do this. You find those gatekeepers that are less interested in gatekeeping and are more interested in making the thing correct, in
Mhm.
making it as good as it possibly can be. And those guys are out there too. So, when you're on the online communities and you feel like you're getting a little mad,
Mhm.
reread their message, ask them
Right.
questions. Hey, why would you point that out? Why is that important? And then sometimes you get an answer of, oh, it's important because you see it in this scene, you see it in this
Mhm.
museum. And then you're like, oh, that's a really good point. I'm going
Right.
to add that. And then the next time you build something, you message that person. Hey,
Mhm.
does this look good? What do you see? What needs corrected? Um, and that's when it can get really good. That's when you
Right.
remind people, hey, this gatekeeper is a gatekeeper for a reason. He knows his shit.
Right.
Yeah. Ask him questions. Ask him whatever you can come up with. He will be very happy to let his autism fly. Those are the guys that I love. I'm like, tell me which screw I have to use because I can't find it. Oh, here's the link. I found this 10 years ago. There's a set of screws that I use on the ecto goggles that you can get in one place. And it's in New York. And it's the only place you can get that screw that was used on the real things back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And they still make them. And so when you get my ecto goggles, those screws are those are the mil spec screws. And some guy sent me the link. He's like, these are the screws you want, dude. Go get them. And I was like, thank you. Awesome nerd. So,
That's
yeah.
fun.
And I think the only other last piece of advice I would give to people If anybody's asking my advice, sorry. Learn everything you can get your grubby hands on. Molding and casting is not as hard as it looks. 3D printing is not as hard as it looks. Model building is not as hard as it looks. Special effects makeup is not as hard as it looks. It's practice and consistency, y'all. And it's just leveling. If you get to a point where you have customers, level with your customers. I've got a guy who's been waiting 2 months for his Ecto goggles. And it's because we've been trying to make a new harness because his last harness ripped while we were sewing it. And then we couldn't get the rubber. And then the seamstress didn't have time to come do it. And, it shouldn't be, it'll be 2 more days. No, it'll be like, hey, this is what's happening. Here's the problem. I'm sorry that I missed your convention. You're gonna have these for the next 10 conventions. Or walking around your house. Not that I ever wear my stuff around the house. I totally do. Every time I finish a new proton pack, I wear it around the house just to get used to it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
The real trick is if you can maneuver around your own bathroom in a proton pack, you're gonna be okay in the real world.
Right.
But yeah, I really, I love the Ghostbusters community so much. They've really, I got to go and ride the Millennium Falcon at Disneyland because I make sales on Etsy. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for getting me to Disneyland. And I just can't wait to show you guys what's coming next. It's going to be a great time to be a fan. The Netflix stuff is going to be really cool. And if everybody could make a point to go out and watch Answer the Call, find the director's cut. The director's cut is awesome and it's hilarious. So open yourself up to Answer the Call as much as you can. And even if there's something that you don't like in a movie that you love, talk about the stuff that you do love.
I feel like a lot of people have a lot of hate around Answer the Call.
And you know what? It was a big swing. It was a really big swing. And when the final cut of it came through, they chopped a lot of really good stuff out. The director's cut that's on the DVD, you get more stuff with Rowan. You get a more complete story with Erin and the relationship she has with her boyfriend. There's less of the girls being funny, which I know sounds odd because, those 4 are the best, some of the best comedians on the planet right now, even right now. Boy, I would not mind to see another Kate McKinnon movie. She's amazing. The director's cut has a dance number in it that got cut. And in the director's cut, you see the universe that they were trying to create, which they eventually made it over to the comic books. But yeah, had they accomplished what they were trying to accomplish, it would have blown our minds. I'm super happy with what they made. I thought the movie was hilarious. The DVD also has a 45-minute blooper reel that is worth the price of the DVD. Yeah, man. Answer the Call wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was funny. The same thing with Afterlife and Frozen Empire. I understand the environment that movies are made in now. I understand that you can't take a lot of risk.
Especially the way people are nowadays, man.
Yeah.
People are so picky about everything.
Yeah. And that pickiness, that comes from fear. I'm afraid the thing that I love is going to get destroyed, so I'm going to lash out. But we all got to remember at the end of the day, we don't own Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
We are just consumers. We might get to work on it. We might get to work around it, but it doesn't belong to us.
Mm-hmm.
So their decisions are their decisions.
Yep,
it's obvious that they respect our input. It's obvious that they care. what we think, but you know, people that yell at me that they don't like the way I'm making my props or doing things, my immediate response is, cool, you do it. I'll cheer you on, you know? And usually
Hey,
that
gotta do what
shuts,
you gotta do.
yeah, usually that shuts them up. But so, I'm proud to say I've inspired a couple guys to make movies. There's a couple of guys locally that have, hey, I really want to tell this story, so screw it, I'm going to do it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you make Terrifier. It's like, oh, how did that happen? We don't know. Guess we better make another one. 3 more times. But
Yeah, that movie,
yeah.
man, let me tell you, it's gory, but I mean that he played that character so fucking well that it's unreal. Like you didn't even talk the entire movie, but you made it still so freaking funny. Yeah, he did amazing with that.
They did their first convention after the first movie released, and it was Horror Hound. And Damien and David had their table out in the main hall, but everybody else had a table next door to us, and they had no idea how to build a con table. And it was a really wonderful moment where we got to help those guys kind of assemble their setup so that the traffic of the room would move from our booth to their booth and then out.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to do that for them because somebody at Horror Hound did that for us our first year when they saw our table set up, and they were like, nope, everybody's going to get bottlenecked. You got to do it this so people move through it like it's a theme park ride. And yeah, seeing those guys who did Terrifier, I've been wanting to work with them for a long time.
They did a poster for one of our events.
Yeah, they did. And they didn't even question it. They were literally all at dinner together because all those guys know each other on Long Island and New Jersey. They were all literally at dinner and just passed that poster around. And we're like, who's this for? Oh, those guys. Squeak, 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 squeak. I think we have like a key grip signature on that poster. Like everybody signed it.
Yep.
I know the cinematographer's on there. Damien Leone's on there. Phil Francone signed it. Phil Francone is a makeup guru. He was one of those guys who was like, "Do you have a photo of you on your wall, man?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Where are you putting?" He goes, "Where are you putting me?" And I said, "Where should I put you?" And he goes, "Who do you got up on there?" And he goes, "Don't put me under that guy." And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I've got quite a few autographs myself. I've got Jeff Gordon. I've got Bowen, Luke, and Daisy from the original Dukes of Hazzard.
That's so cool. Who's your favorite you've ever got? Like, who was your best experience?
Honestly, I would probably have to say probably Tony no. Yeah, probably Tony so far. Or
Yep.
neither Tony or Butch. But I've got Jeff Gordon, and then there's theirs. And then there's Butch's.
Butch is always so much fun when he comes out.
Yep. And then
That's
I've got
great.
Tony's signature on a Stay Puft picture. And then I've got a lot of the cast from the Nightmare on Elm Street, including Tony's on that one as well.
Nice.
But I haven't got those ones set up just yet.
Yeah, I've got Tony's right there. Yeah. My favorite was Doug Jones, who, any movie with a suit, any Guillermo del Toro movie, that's Doug Jones in there. And I met him randomly at a free comic book day in Columbus. Turns out he's from Indianapolis. And I, embarrassingly, in 1999, was the SeaWorld mime at SeaWorld Cleveland. So, you know, still got it. So I was really happy to meet him. I was like, hey, I was a mime, and I respect what you do for that extra level. You know, I get what you're doing. I get how
Right.
you're doing it. And I walked in with my hand out to meet him, and he went onto my face. And I look down at the woman running his table, who turned out to be his wife. And I look at her, and she looks back at me in her eyes and just is like, go with it. Like, it's too late. He's got you. And he goes, you have a beautiful shaped head. Thank you. And then I was like, and he kept doing it. It was very funny. And I was like, I was a mime at SeaWorld where I love what you do. And he goes, oh, and he puts his big spindly hands on my shoulders and goes, I was the mime at Kings Island. And I went, no. And it turned out we were trained by the same theme park mime. His name was John Jones, no relation to Doug.
That's awesome.
We did all his famous bits that you still see. Tom the Mime down at SeaWorld Orlando, who's
Tom the Mime. I love him.
Yep, he does all the same stuff we used to do. I love seeing it because I'm like, I remember doing that.
Yeah, but, Tom. I watch Tom's stuff all the time. I love his stuff.
Yeah, he's a hoot. There's a girl down there too, and I can't think of her name, but she is with her movements. She is sharp as a knife edge, man. She's really good.
Yeah.
And I know she's been a zombie in Walking Dead a couple of times. But
that's cool.
He gave me his autograph, and then he called me Mime Cousin. He said, oh, Mime Cousin, Mime Cousin. And he gave me a hug with those weird arms of his. And I stand by this statement. His hugs are better than my mother's. Sorry, Mom. I'm sure you're watching. But I got to meet him again a few years later. And it was very clear that he was very, very tired. And he came in late to the con. This was in Indianapolis at Horror Hound. And he was in his chair, and we were just about to open the doors. And I ran over, and I was like, hi, Doug, I just wanted to run over and say, and he kind of, very tired, he just got off the plane, got out of his seat. And then he looked at me, and I went, I just wanted to come over and say hi. And he went, you have a beautifully shaped head. How are you, Mime Cousin? And I was like, I'm so well. And I noticed that he had red on his skin. And I said, do you have a rash? And he went, nope, just wrapped season 3 of Discovery, and I hopped on a plane. And I went, and I did some quick math, because I know the makeup artists who are on Discovery. And he literally wrapped, had his makeup taken off, got on the plane, came to Indianapolis for his Friday evening appearance. And he still had the red from the glue on his face. So that's how hard that guy works.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I know that I will never touch that level of dedication.
No.
Boy. And I've since seen him 2 other times, and he always, Mime Cousin, how are you? Hi, Mime Cousin. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Every time I see him, I'll message him on Instagram. Oh, you just came on. What's the vampire show? The Shadows? I can't think of the title.
Dark Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows. He's the Baron. And he's hilarious. I
was thinking of the Johnny Depp movie. Never mind.
Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
He's probably in there somewhere. Buried under 10 feet of makeup in a suit. I always tease him. I said, I love when you were Saru, because I saw you. And he goes, right. Oh, that's not me. I'm underneath. And I said, no, that's you. That's how Doug Jones treats people. You're Saru. That's you. That's just you and a little bit of foam rubber and silicone.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, just I love getting the autographs. They're such a hoot. I'm currently collecting the entire Next Generation cast, and I've gotten just about everybody. And I'm trying to get all the weird ensigns and extras that were always there and are in all the movies. And I just got what's her last name? Tracy. I'm going to botch this. Tracy Cacao or Coco. She's in every background of every Next Generation episode. She was a Borg. She's been a Vulcan. And I messaged her on Facebook. Hey, will you sign something and send it to me? And she goes, yeah. How much money you got? And I said, I got $60. And she goes, $10 for shipping, and it's yours. There you go. Thanks.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, getting to do what I do now, it does give me a bit of a freedom to be like, will you sign this for me? I surprised Erica Mills and Eric Reich when I visited Ghost Car with a photo. And I was like, you guys got to sign this. And they both looked at it like, why do you want this? I was like, so I can look up and see a photo of my bosses going, fix the problem, fix the problem. And then Jason, I got Jason to do one, and he just looked at it and went, ah. And then he slipped a challenge coin in my hand, like a mobster. Like I didn't even see it coming. Huh. And the day that I visited them, I could tell that they were having a pretty bad day. And they were still nice enough to, give me 10 minutes, which was really nice.
Yeah,
the whole group in there, seeing the wall of everybody's patches, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, all these people are real. Oh, thank God, I'm not alone. So yeah.
Nope. Yeah, we definitely have a hell of a community. That's for sure.
We do. It's the guys that do Yes Have Some, watching that, just watching that number go up over Christmas. I was like, oh my God, we're going to do this. Like I'm notoriously cheap. And even I was moved to throw $100 in. I was like, yeah, I better get in there. It's like,
yeah,
like everybody's doing it, man. You gotta, but knowing that that's possible is amazing to me.
Right.
So yeah, I'm excited to see what we're gonna pull off
in the next couple years.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and those guys are amazing. And then we've got Ghostbuster News, and we've got Report All Ghosts, and we've got the Buffalo guys that put on Ghostbuster Day, and the New York guys that do that too. And
yep.
I love that the entire city of New York is kind of in on the joke. I think it's like, yeah, you guys can shut down part of Tribeca for us. No big deal. We'll go around or under or over or. But yeah.
It's amazing what the Ghostbuster community has really come over the last couple years, because like I couldn't imagine life without what we do. And like, and I'm so happy that Jason and all of them, they're all so supportive of the things that we all do and the community that we do, because like if they wouldn't, we'd all be sued. But luckily they love what we do with communities. They love the work that we put in for all these different charities.
Yep.
And they love that we're keeping that community alive the way that we do.
Yep, we got to give back. We got to do it. We just have. We have to.
Oh, and you just and the whole Ghostbusters Give Back thing too. They just started that up not too long ago, where all the money that we raise, they double it.
Yep.
And all that money goes to hospital gowns and stuff.
Yep. It's one big pot. I've been fortunate to be in relationships with a lot of teachers. And have teachers in my family, and the mantra usually with that kind of work is, you save one, and then you get the next one, and then you get the next one, and then sometimes it might be you, And then sometimes it might be your buddy, but you just, it's a privilege that we've got enough money and enough time that we get to blow a weekend dressed up as a cartoon character.
Yep.
And if we can do a little bit of positivity with that benefits, that benefits the franchise and somebody else, well, you can't beat that. That's as high as you can go. So, hey, I used this silly thing to help people. Cool. Now, and then, the worst two words of the English language. Now what?
Right.
What's next? and then you go find that thing. So, and that's what I'm doing right now. I asked the question, hey, what's next? And everybody went, you should do this. And I went, yeah, I should do that. Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Yeah, how much money am I going to need? Let's do that very slowly. let's go get a job that can help me do that. And okay, yeah, cool. Yeah. When I pitched it to my boss, I pitched this new idea to my boss the other day, and his jaw dropped. He was like, "You want to do this?" And I said, "I'm already doing it. I just want to do it all together." And he went, "Oh, how much money are we going to make? We're going to make X amount of crap loads." And he went, okay, we're going to talk about this next week. And I was like, cool, we'll talk about it next week. So yeah, it's going to be, boy, there's some cool stuff coming.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
And I don't even know about most of the cool stuff. I just have faith that it's coming. I'm like, oh yeah, they got that. They can do that.
Sounds like your company needs to hurry up and get a Ghostbuster license.
Where we move at the speed of Sony Pictures. They're the boss. They tell us what they want, and we go do it. And so far, we haven't heard a peep. So we'll wait. We'll be cool. Halloween's coming. They've got plenty to do. So yeah. We'll see this. We'll see this over the next couple of years. So
yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, man, I think you actually wore me out of stories. So good job.
Well, I honestly appreciate you a lot being able to come on here, man.
No
I think that we've really covered a lot of stuff that fans didn't know about the movies and stuff like that.
There's some stuff we didn't cover. There's some great behind the scenes stories out there of just that are really positive, that are just funny and cute, and of people taking care of each other. And some of the people that I've gotten to talk to that I'm fans of, I can't believe I get the privilege of Facebook messaging them. Like this person's in my phone. Like what did I do? Like, how did I don't know what I did. Why is this guy answering my phone call? Yeah, there's so much more we can do. There's so many more things we get to build. Yeah, everybody out there, don't stop what you're doing. If you got a group, if you're running a franchise, get with the other franchises, leave your ego out of it. Do whatever you can get done. Nobody in the real world is going to know that you're using the wrong Legris. Nobody in the real world is going to know that you're using vinyl hose versus polyvinyl. Just do your thing and have a blast. Because at the end of it, guys, and I've been in this position, if you're on your deathbed, you're only going to have one person to answer to, and that's yourself.
Yep.
And you better be able to put a smile on your face. Hey, I did that thing. I'm cool with being done.
If a business fails, who's to blame? The CEO. If a business succeeds, who's to blame? The CEO.
The customer.
You are the CEO of your life.
Yeah.
You are going to be the one to determine where you are at the end of your life.
And I remind everybody out there that great customer service begins with the customer who's in trouble.
Yep.
If you ever need a problem fixed, reach out and be cool. Don't go post, oh, this guy did this to me. Well, did you talk to them first? No? Well, maybe it's your fault. Like, do they have a return policy? Yes. Well, then message them. Don't post something on a website that person's not part of and can't solve your problem. Don't be negative. There's a million other ways you can go about something.
Yeah.
Than worrying about your own ego, worrying about your own money, and worrying about the other guy who makes stuff too.
Yep.
Don't worry about the other guy. Worry about you. The other
Yep.
guy is running his own race. And as we've been seeing in the community lately, those guys are going to screw up and shut down on their own. So, run your own race and hope that you have people that are cheering you on. Listen to the universe. Don't stop making stuff. If you screw up, fix it. If you don't screw up, pat yourself on the back, buy yourself a good dinner, and then start over the next day.
Yep.
That's all you can do.
Right, I agree. I've got 2 more questions for you.
Oh, sure.
What is your social media for the fans so they can look you up?
TikTok is at Rhett1701. I believe Instagram is at RJMartin1701. Facebook, I'm Rhett J. Martin. Hashtag Stance Industries, that's me. If you have an idea, don't hesitate to reach out. Do me a favor, don't message me cool new things that are coming out because I already know about it. And don't do it at 1 a.m.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you apply the rules I've told you, if you're reaching out to somebody that you need validation from, whether it's an actor, an actress, a special effects creator, a director, a producer, be respectful, be mindful. If they're in LA and you're in New York, you better know what time it is in LA that right then. Because you might be messaging them at 5 a.m.
Yep.
If they're in London, know what day it is in London or in New Zealand or Greece. Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. If you're talking to these guys, you're all on the same team. There's no reason to be mean. Just because you plunk down $200 doesn't mean there's 50 other guys holding $200 standing behind you. So get your problem solved and get the heck out of the way. Be respectful, but don't stop making stuff. Keep going. Eventually something's going to stick and you're going to be able to start climbing the mountain.
Yep.
And if you do get to climb the mountain, be respectful of the bodies that you got to climb back over on the way down.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to leave some people behind, and maybe one day those people will figure it out. So
exactly, man. Well said.
And what's the other question?
The last question I have for you is, who you gonna call?
He-Man.
Oh God.
How great is that movie going to be?
Oh
my God, I can't wait to see that movie. All I can tell you is Trapjaw was my favorite. So I'm like, oh, if they get Trapjaw right, But yeah, man.
I am excited to see that movie too. Yep, you call us.
Cool. Well, hey, we'll see you. Will we see you at GalaxyCon, or will we see you in September, or will we see you in December?
September, I have the Inglewood Cinema. I'm doing an event September 19th and September 20th. It's going to be a 2-day event. We're going to be doing Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on the 19th, on the 20th, Afterlife and Frozen Empire. We are going to try to get something together where maybe Rhett and maybe some of the other people can do what we did for the Miamisburg Plaza, where they do like a little shout out thing for us.
Yeah, you're going to want to talk to Mike and Scott about that, because this year, and Nick as well, this year is going to be really cool.
Yep. Then that is going to be in October.
Yeah,
Yep.
October. Yeah, October is going to be a hit. I
Yep.
should let you know we're all trying to get together a Cedar Point day. So, hey,
Cool.
if any of you out there have never been to Cedar Point or Kings Island, your roller coasters suck. We have the best. So, sorry, not sorry. See you this summer so we can prove you right.
All right, brother. Well, it has been
All
a
right.
pleasure having you on here, man. I
You
really
too.
appreciate you helping me out with this podcast.
Hey, my
And
pleasure.
I will talk to you soon, brother.
Sounds good. We'll see you out there.
All right, man. Peace.
All right.
All right, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode of the Ghostbuster Dad Ghostbusters Talk Show. If you guys are new or returning, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit that notification bell for all upcoming videos, and I will see you right back here in the next episode. Without further ado, who you gonna call? You call the Ghostbusters. Peace.